What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel, and our 2023 college football predictions continue for the 2023 college football season. Up next is the Miami Hurricanes, team coming off a pretty disappointing season last year. They went 5-7 overall in 2022. A lot of people are giving this Miami team so much hype. Some of the other people have, given Miami a chance to go to the college football playoff. However, that wasn't the case. I wasn't really high on Miami last year. I did have them winning, though, the Coastal Division and the ACC Championship and not getting to the college football playoff. But looking at this Miami team this year, they do return Tyler Van Dyke back at quarterback. Of course, he had some health issues last year, and I think he'll be better, this upcoming season. So, yeah, Miami, I think, will be a pretty interesting team this year. I think they have maybe what it takes to win, maybe the ACC this year, but there are no divisions in the ACC. Looking at the schedule for Miami this year, they do play Miami of Ohio Redhawks, Texas A&M, Bethune Cookman, and Temple on the road in the non-conference. So, yeah, that's interesting. Playing Temple on the road on September the 23rd. And then you look at their ACC schedule. Yeah, they have to play pretty much almost every single team, but, not every quite team. Obviously there are no divisions in the ACC, and that kind of what makes this schedule a little bit tougher for Miami on this schedule. But they do have to play, the top three teams, maybe heading into next year. North Carolina on the road, in Clemson at home, and also Florida State. So those are pretty tough games there. But let's get right to the game-by-game prediction here and give you an official prediction for this Miami team for 2023. So Miami starts things off here with the Redhawks of Miami of Ohio. This game is going to be on a Friday night, so it will be, I think, will be a really exciting matchup. I'm not saying it's going to be a close game, but I think the Miami Hurricane fans will be ready for this one. They're really excited at what to see here for this Miami team after a really tough season last year. I think Miami gets an easy win over Miami of Ohio by at least more than 30 points. So I got the Hurricanes starting out 1-0. Then there's this matchup against Texas A&M at home on September the 9th. I already done my Texas A&M prediction video. You can go back and watch that. And I already predicted Miami to, beat Texas A&M. The reason why is just because of home field advantage. I know Texas A&M has the talent. They have the more talented team here. But, yeah, Miami is going to compete. Miami is going to compete. I think this game is kind of similar to last year. It definitely goes either way. I think Miami, though, with home field advantage at the end of the day, will get it done. So I got the Miami Hurricanes defeating Texas A&M in a pretty close defensive battle. So I got the Hurricanes now improving to 2-0 before improving to 3-0 after a win over Bethune Cookman. That game is on September the 14th, and that's pretty interesting there. But I got Miami now starting out 3-0. Then they'll play Temple on the road. Yeah, Temple on the road is a pretty tough one, but, I just don't really expect Temple to be all that good this year. Haven't really studied the group of 5 teams just yet, but I think I'm going to get into, studying them just a little bit more heading into the, season or maybe in the last few months. Temple, though, I really don't expect them to really shock Miami, but you never know. But I think Miami escapes with a win here on the road at Temple. So I got Miami now improving to 4-0. And they get a bye week before playing Georgia Tech here on October the 7th. So they open up ACC play here against the Yellow Jackets. Pretty interesting getting a bye week rather early in the season for Miami. Georgia Tech made some progress last year. This year, though, is hard to tell how good they're going to be. I mean, I know they are going to run that triple option, but, I think Miami is just way too talented. I think Miami gets a pretty easy win over Georgia Tech here on October the 7th. And I got Miami improving to 5-0. Then it's North Carolina on the road on October the 14th. Big matchup here. Usually when these two teams step out on the field, it usually decides the Coastal Division. But this year, it really doesn't decide anything. But North Carolina is going to have a pretty good team. They're going to have a good offense. I think this is definitely one of those shootout-type ball games. I think both defenses are going to struggle in this game. Got two great quarterbacks going at it with Tyler Van Dyke and, of course, Drake May. Both of these guys are really could potentially be Heisman contenders, but I don't think Tyler Van Dyke is up there in that conversation, but Drake May is definitely up there. And I already done my North Carolina video. You can go back and watch that one. I predicted North Carolina to win here in a close shootout, hard-fought game here. And I think the Tar Heels give Miami their first loss of the season. So I got Miami now falling to 5-1 after that loss to North Carolina, but then they'll play Clemson after that on October the 21st. So yeah, things don't get easier for Miami after that North Carolina loss. They do have to play Clemson, but you at least get them at home. That's the good news if you're a Miami fan. Clemson, though, they're going to have the offense as well, but that's what really concerns me this year about Clemson is the offense. Defensively, they are really strong on that side of the football. They got some playmakers, but I think Miami's going to compete in this game. I already done Clemson's video, and I already predicted Miami will pull off a huge upset here. I think the reason why is just because of home field advantage. I mean, Miami's going to compete, and the home crowd's going to be right behind them, and I think Miami gets a pretty good win here over Clemson. It won't be an easy one, but I like Miami here at the end of the day with home field advantage, so I got Miami now improving to 6-1. Virginia coming up next on October the 28th. I don't really expect Virginia to be all that good this year. They lost a ton of guys in the transfer portal. And also, you know, they lost just so many players from last year. So, yeah, Virginia, I just don't expect to be all that pretty good this year. So, I got Miami defeating Virginia here in a pretty easy one on October the 28th. And I got them now improving to 7-1. Then they get to the month of November. This is going to be a pretty tough November schedule. They'll play back-to-back road games here with NC State and Florida State. Let's start with the NC State game. NC State, obviously, on the road, very tough place to play. I think NC State's going to be a pretty good team, even without Devin Leary at quarterback. I think this is a pretty tough game to play at, and plus it's in November. Miami could be sitting there with a chance maybe to be in the college football playoff picture, but yeah, this is one of those November games that it just comes down to the wire, and obviously when it comes to November, it's definitely a month that's full of upsets, and I think it's one of these games. I got to go with NC State here to knock off Miami and give them their second loss of the season, but the schedule doesn't get much easier for Miami. They do play Florida State next year on the road. Rival game, you just never know what can happen here on November the 11th. Florida State's got a veteran team. They do have experience in this game, and I think that's what wins them the game here. I really don't see this game, going. I think I could still see this game going either way, but Florida State, home field advantage. Obviously, the experience helps them out, and I think the Seminoles do knock off Miami here. I just think Florida State is just way more talented. And like I said, I've already done some of these other prediction videos. You can go back and watch those. Florida State, I've already done theirs, but I got them giving Miami their third loss of the season, so that's back-to-back losses there for Miami. Then it's Louisville on November 18th. I think Miami is kind of desperate for a win at this point after those two straight losses. They're kind of angry at this point, but Louisville is not going to be an easy game. They do bring in a ton of transfers in the transfer portal this year, but the question is how good are they going to be for that Louisville program? I mean, that's going to be the question there, but I think Miami is the way more talented team here. With that being said, I think Miami gets a win here, and I think plus home field advantage does favor them in this one, so I got Miami improving to 8-3. Then they'll end things out with Boston College on the road on November 24th. This is not going to be an easy game here for Miami. I've said it before. Boston College is going to be a team that's going to be probably sneaky good in the ACC this year. I think Boston College has what it takes to, compete this year, but not for an ACC championship spot. I mean, Boston College could be one of those underdog teams in the ACC, but I'm telling you, this is not going to be an easy game for Miami. But however, this game is on a Friday night. It's just one of those upset alert type games, but I just think the overall talent that Miami has is going to win them the game. I just think Miami just has way too much, experience and obviously more talent than Boston College. With that being said, I think Miami gets a close win here on the road at Boston College. It won't be an easy one, but I got Miami defeating Boston College, and I got Miami finishing with an overall record of 9-3 for 2023. I could very well see this team going 8-4 if they did lose to Boston College on the road, but it could be possible they go 7-5 if they did lose to Texas A&M. So yeah, 7-5 I think would be worst case scenario. Best case scenario would probably be 10-2 perhaps. I mean, it's very possible they can go 10-2, but I think this team goes 9-3 in 2023. Give me your thoughts on this Miami team down in the comments below. What do you think their record is in 2023? And stay tuned here for more sports content on the Lucas Ross Sports Channel.